It's like a kitten.
Right.
It's my little
Go ahead,
kitten.
first question.
How'd you guys meet?
I actually needed to find a tile rep, and I was with a couple friends, and they said, "Oh, go to ProSource, go see Mo. She's fantastic." So I go up to ProSource, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm looking for a Mo for," and she turns around and goes, "Well, I'm Mo Ferreira or whatever, Anto." I didn't even know what her last name was, and sure enough, she comes around, and it was just like, "Oh, hey, you're kind of cute. You want to sell me some tile?" and then yeah, she was my tile rep for like a year. You were there about a year.
I think it was less than that, but I don't remember the actual initial when you walked in. I do remember working with you the first day, and then after that.
I didn't make that much of an impact the first day, I guess.
I didn't remember you asking for me. I don't remember any of that, but after that I remember working.
So yeah, that was probably 4 years ago. So and then you went off on your own, and then they had a project at her house. So she hired me to do some tile and some finish work, and
That's right.
and that was kind of our
first one you worked with.
first project was your house.
All right.
So that was fun.
So you're good at putting up tile, and
All sorts of finishes.
you're good at finding.
It's like
people putting
I guess
tile
it's
up.
like artisan carpentry is kind of what I probably do now more than anything. I'd rather not rip toilets apart and pull bathtubs out. I like to kind of do like fun creative stuff. So.
Yes.
All right, Rich, I'm just gonna. All right. So theming. Look at Rich and tell us about what jazzes you about theming. What drives you to do theming? Either one of you.
Is this one on? Okay.
Apparently, theming is.
What I really enjoy about theming is the creative aspect and also the marketing of it. The draw, what brings people in to come look at something, whether it be residential or commercial. When you go above and beyond, it tends to market really well. So if it's a residential property and it's a vacation home, then your potential clients are going to see that. And they're going to look at that and go, well, hey, I want to stay there. Why would I stay over here if I could stay at that house? If it's a commercial location, it's the same thing. It's all the visual merchandising. It captures people's attention, their creativity, their what's the word? Their imaginations.
Yeah.
You know, and it draws them, and people love that. So it's exciting, and it's you know, it's doing something different. It's always different.
And I totally like just being able to push the envelope, like really make it so that what experience that you have in the park, or you have wherever it is that you're, you know,
In your
however
mind.
you feel, I want to be able to have somebody walk into that space and just be like, oh my God, this is the coolest pirate room I've ever seen in my entire life. Or this is the most amazing wizard room I've ever seen in my life. It makes me feel like I just got out of Universal. And to be able to kind of bring that excitement from after all day at the park, and then they get to go into their bedroom and they get to play and watch TV and do whatever and feel like a really popular pirate that's in a movie for some mouse dude. That's what drives us. Like that's really being able to put them into that spot is perfect.
Great.
Every
That was actually
way
really
to
good.
Some mouse dude.
Right.
Say the obvious.
Apparently, you mean Disney.
So what are your specialties? Here, I'll start helping Rich out. He's-
Oh, you're nasty.
So,
What do you think you
Rob,
can
talk about your specialties.
I
the things
can't
you-
read.
What's your strong suit?
I think one of my specialties is really being able to deal with a client and then find out exactly what it is that they think they want. I use a lot of different tools, being at like Pinterest and things like that, so that they can really get a visual as to what where my imagination is going. But then, you know, being able to kind of push it over the top. So if I'm doing like a reclaimed wood project, and I give them little snippets, I'll give them photos of things that I've done, but then being able to push it further than I ever have before. And I love it when, you know, like I'll block off a wall so they can't see it and actually do like a reveal and seeing that initial reaction of like, oh my God, this is my living room, or this is my master bedroom, this is my bathroom, are you kidding me? That's by far the most gratifying. So I think, you know, the communication with the client and being able to like
Bring it back.
overdo whatever they want. Whatever.
He was doing fine. And then you're making like this funny
That's fine.
face.
I'm like listening because I'm like, where? Okay, there we are.
Charge him $1,000.
The science of it. That's what I like to refer to it as. Is I always have a breakdown in a science to why we're charging clients what we are and how it's going to benefit them. I can break it down to a number in my mind, well, not in my mind, on paper. I can show them and say, this is what we're charging you, and this is what your projection is going to be on the return. And so for me, that's really invigorating. That's my strong suit. Rob's like, yeah, well, all right, $2,000, perfect. Well, let's do it. And I'm like, no. Somebody's got to have the business side. So that would be.
But
my
Rob,
strong suit.
tell us about the thing Curtis was asking me today about learning from these master craftsmen, what it meant to learn this whole other craft.
Learning this craft was definitely not something that happened right away. I was back 15, 20 years ago, I was a way better salesman than I ever was a carpenter. So I could sell a project, but wouldn't really know exactly what I was doing. So I would hire some of my best friends that were master carpenters, and they would teach me how to do jobs that I'd already sold. That learning curve was unbelievable. So I learned the detail, being a little OCD about expecting things to be absolutely dialed in and perfect. They taught me just how to run my business and how to do things. They taught me how to do things a little different, creatively, as well as just pushing the envelope. They were so good, and I learned everything from my buddy Matt, Jason, Jeff, these guys in Oregon that are just unbelievable dudes as well. Really kind of put me on the path that I'm on now, expecting more out of what I can do, and
Challenging yourself.
And I'm looking at him, and I just kind of really want to ask you, how did your son then
it's okay.
go
If
to
that's something
carpentry?
Hmm?
I was thinking, because your son was interested in following, in a way, your footsteps kind of thing.
Yeah,
That might be an interesting bit, a little
yeah, okay. I can try.
something on this day in particular. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's your call.
And then, fast forward to, now, having my son who, was always interested in things that I had done and helped me with a bunch of projects. And last year, when he decided that he'd go to school and go to college, he wanted to take carpentry. He said that he enjoyed all the things that we used to do, and so it's really special that he chose to do that.
Right.
It's a little harder now, only because he passed away 4 months ago. But any inspiration and the extra creativity that I know that I have now, I know it comes from him. And he has made me a better carpenter, and expect more out of myself. So I can't ask anything more than my son wanting to do the same sort of things that I was, to be just like me. So
he's inspiring you a little bit, maybe.
yeah, so Devin absolutely inspires me every single day, and he's right here.
Right.
It's,
Good. That's good. Through the creative process on these themed homes.
The creative process for me starts with a little bit of history and research, depending on where we're at, what the location is, the space, the genre, what it is that we're really trying to tap into. I'm a big history buff anyway, so I really draw a lot from understanding the root of what we're working on. After that, I think, that's when the creativity starts to come in. Like I get the facts and start pulling in just little nuances and things that are different that you wouldn't expect, and then start flowing into the actual, that's we bring the colors and the materials and the textures and the actual space layout. When Rob and I are in a space, or actually in the room together, then I think the creativity is
explodes.
yeah, it's just kind of, once we already, for me, I have the background And then if we're in the space together, then Rob just starts shooting off, let's do this, let's do that. And then I'm like, okay, what if we do this? And like pull these elements in.
And at the
you
same
know.
time as she's drawing stuff that I'm saying, and we'll change our mind, and then that piece of paper goes flying, and then another piece of paper comes. So by the end of it, we're like in like a garage, and there's like 50 random pieces of paper all over the floor, and then we'll be like, oh, that was a dumb idea. And then, oh, that one's cool. And then we'll kind of like piece all these crazy ideas over the last hour and a half.
And then it becomes a collaboration of all these different ideas. And then obviously we have to take
It's
into account budget
unorthodox.
and
I
capability.
don't recommend doing it. But it kind of works for us. I mean, there'll be times we'll be like literally laying on the floor and in a space. And again, there's just sketch pads and there's markers, or we'll have like a Sharpie on the wall and we'll, what about this? And I'm like, oh, are we painting this?
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
we're
That's
painting
Rob's
this.
go-to. He draws on the wall, but
Yeah.
okay. I guess we are gonna paint it. Yeah, it just, I mean, it depends on the project. There's a lot of time spent in the space, a lot of sitting around just looking at walls and getting ideas.
And a lot of it's just me doing whatever I'm told as well. That happens a lot.
A good boy.
Yeah, he's very well
how
trained.
much- how
Somebody
much-
trained him great.
How much do you take stuff? It's funny because the realtor was asking us this today, the new property managers for us. How much do you take input from people, and how much are you just wanting to
Client.
say? How much do you?
So you would sit and listen to a client, and they give
don't
you a
have any
budget,
choice.
and then you.
Well, no, the amount of input that comes from a client or budget's going to give you a lot of input there, but the amount of input from our clients is all indicative of what it is that the client wants. Like some of them are very opinionated and have an idea. They merely want you to be a extension of their vision. This is what I want. I don't have the means to do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the creativity, but this is what I see. Other clients they just, oh, well, we want some sort of room that's, like.
Yeah, you want to make our time good, so they can
Talk,
respect your
talk
time.
about palettes and talk about what drives you with all that. That you've got this
I
passion.
love palettes so much.
I like my palettes.
They really get me going.
I like the palette work, the reclaim materials. I don't know if it's because I'm Canadian or lived in Oregon or whatever. I'm cheap. This is a really good point.
There's big profit
I
margin.
don't. There's massive profit margins.
And that's why I like palettes.
I have amazing people that tear the palettes apart, so now I don't even have to do that part. I like how raw it is. I like how most of the palettes are really good wood. It's like oak or really nice Doug fir, and when you clean it up a little bit, just a little bit, throw some stain on it.
Well, what a waste of resources, right? Not to cut you off, but I always do. But I mean, if you think about it, it's so many pieces of wood that are being thrown away on these pallets. They use them once, one and done.
What
And they
drives
go
me
into-
crazy is when my son's friends, they burn pallets, and they got this massive burn pile, and there's like 40 pallets. I'm like, guys, it's like $3,000 that you're just torching. So,
And I'm sure if it was actually $3,000, they would not do it.
right,
But
but
they
they
don't
just
see
there's
how to
no
monetize
creativity.
it. But
No,
I think it's good for the world at the end of the
Yeah.
day to reuse it.
I love that rustic look. I love the modern rustic look. I think
Definitely.
that's our house. It's modern. It's got some modern flair to it. But then that rustic, just that warmth that it adds. I don't know. I probably like that it's cheap. Probably. But we've been able to do so many cool things with it.
We
You
have,
know, we've got
no.
wine walls. We've got cool mosaics. I've wrapped bars, like concrete countertops, and wrapped it all in pallets, and like a really cool outside bar, outside kitchens.
I mean, you think about it, you can
I've done
make anything with them.
ceilings. You know, I mean, it's.
The only thing we haven't made is a tiny house, which I am determined to do. A tiny house made out of pallets.
Yeah, we need a tiny house for our roommate because he's never in the house anyway, so we may as well just kind of like give him his own little tiny house, so we actually never have to see him at all. So
Speaking of which, what's it like
Yeah,
living
what
together,
about?
you
I
two?
don't know.
Tell us about living together.
jeez.
It's actually when the situation arose that Rob and I needed a place to live, so I went out of the country for a month, working, not because I was just going on some glamorous vacation. I just left the country, came back, and needed a place to live. So I found a place, and then talked to Rob, and I knew he was living somewhere. And when I spoke to him, he didn't sound like the Rob that I knew. And I was like, I don't know where he's living, but I don't know if I like it for him. So he came over and we had an extra room, and I was like, all right, put some feelers out, see if it's something we could do.
Because we worked together mostly, and
we've
and there
never
was
had that kind of
like that real cool
close.
friendship, right? Like we've always kind of been like,
Yeah.
oh, so how is things going with you and whoever, or whatever, right? So,
So it's just like a little different because you don't know what to expect, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I work with this guy. I've known him very well.
Yeah.
We've worked together for years, but not in my personal space. And you don't.
Yeah.
What do they say? You don't know anybody until you live with them. Or
Right.
You don't know
and
someone
I,
until you live with them.
I was kind of nervous about it. I know she was too. I didn't think she was as funny as she is. Like I had no idea because it's always just such a business kind of at work sometimes, just sometimes. But we always had fun.
It's true. I'm always on his ass.
But now we're like, it's just we have a really cool friendship. We have a really cool dynamic. We laugh a ton.
I probably haven't laughed as much as I've laughed in the past 3 months in years.
Yeah,
We laugh a lot.
it's a really good time. So
Yeah.
it's worked out. It's been kind of a pretty cool blessing actually.
Fix his collar. No, not you. Have Mo do it.
Oh.
Just reach over and fix his collar, and that'll be part of the end of the how we live together.
Thanks.
There's a lot of this that happens for
Thank you, dear.
Constant. Fixing,
Like an unmade
prepping.
bed. Oh, speaking of
laundry.
unmade bed, I fall asleep on the couch and I'm like, wake up at like 5 o'clock. I really should go to bed. I walk into my room and she moved my whole room around. I walk in and I'm just like, was it?
'Cause I
I'm
knew it
pretty
could be-
sure my bed was over there and now it's over here and everything else is like, and I'm like, whatever.
I've been telling him for weeks. I'm like, the way your room is set up, I don't think you have enough space in it, and we can make more space for you, and
I
it would be
sleep
much
in my
nicer.
room. It's not like I entertain. I don't need to do activities, but now I have more room to.
And this is where we differ because for me, it's like I enjoy making spaces better, and
Oh.
they need to feel better.
And she's in the master, so she, definitely
That's-
needs as much space as she can get.
Well, that's yeah. But it's how you feel when you wake up is really indicative of how your day's gonna go. I think if you feel like fresh and alive, and my room feels good, and everything's nice and it's organized, I know where to find my tool belt and my shirt that I'm gonna wear. Then you can proceed with your
my
day.
tool
But
belt
if
is
it's-
not in my
But whatever, if it
shirt
were there.
drawer.
But if it were in your room, you would never find it. So I like to do that sort of stuff. So I really enjoy organizing.
And
so
saging
I
my room.
organize. I cleanse the space for him a lot. And
Wait,
I make
and
sure
leave-
that I
And
make
leave
his
really
bed
nice,
and make sure
really
that
nice
all his-
burn holes in my.
I accidentally burnt his shoe.
Is
It
he,
was an accident.
too
Okay.
too much sage apparently,
is he
in one
messy?
area.
He is definitely not the
Bad.
messiest person I've ever met or
probably fair.
lived cohabitated with. He's
I
just
don't like to
typical. He
clean.
wakes up, he's ready to go out the door.
Like I don't
Gets-
clean. I'll tidy, but I don't clean. I'm just awful at it, and that's why
But
we
I make
have-
my bed every day.
we-
I get up, I make my bed, my clothes are hung. I love doing laundry. Laundry is my thing. I don't know why. I love it. I'm a little bit on the OCD side.
And we
I'm
have
full-
fairies that come every 2 weeks, and they do the real nice clean.
Her
And
name's Gal.
Our fairies are amazing. So that really kind of relieves a lot of stress for me. It's like I really don't need to deep clean because I don't. So our fairies are my godsend for sure.
Upcoming projects. Actually, talk about current projects, things you're jazzed about.
Wait, did we cover how they complement each other?
Oh, we didn't. Okay.
How do you guys complement each other?
I would say we complement each other. Her plan is really good. Like her timelines and the budgets and things like that. The design is always very good. So being able to be efficient in creating that design is a lot easier. That is definitely, I think, the one area that I appreciate because I don't even sketch anything out usually. It just kind of pops into my head and then I'll just kind of do, oh crap, that didn't work. And when we do projects, there's not a lot of that unless I just screw up. And then it's like, oh crap, gotta redo it. But other than that, I think that's probably one of the best.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Rob obviously brings the muscle to the equation. And I may be very good at detail and planning and organizing. Like I can look at a project and say, okay, we are going to need 247 screws and this many tack cons. I can figure it out to that detail. But to actually sit on the project all day when it starts getting messy and like things are, sometimes that's very hard for me. Because I will walk in, and Rob knows, and I will pick up a broom and I have to start sweeping and okay, like I can't think. I gotta clean this so I can sit down and think and see what we're doing. Where Rob's very good at he's in the game. He's like if I were the coach, you'd be the quarterback for sure. I know nothing about sports, but I think that
Coming
was
from
good.
somebody that really doesn't know any of those positions, I think that's fantastic. Really, it comes down to just when we collaborate. Like in the design process, I think, that's really where we shine together the most. Like obviously, yes, she's more business. I'm more just grunt. Application. But creatively, when we get together, that's kind of where we really, like magical things kind of happen.
And a lot of times we're on the same page. It's like it's that telekinesis of communication between him and I. Like we're looking at each other, and he's like, "Do you think what I'm thinking?" I think I'm thinking. And usually we're right on the same.
Because I'm usually just thinking donuts.
Right.
But yeah.
Obviously, I am too. So it's perfect. Match made in heaven.
Well, actually, I mean, in that regard, on the complimenting, and we keep it theming a little bit more. It's when you're doing you're always doing homes that in the theming world, even though you're not, we're making believe a little bit more here. But in the theming world, you're doing things that aren't expected, aren't normal. You're really out of the norm in kind of theming, because that's kind of the gist of it is to take people out of. They may already have a really cool house.
I can't believe you're not getting all the B-roll.
No, he just was cutting me out.
That's the most important stuff, though, because that's when you get the real funnies.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, I've got tons of stuff, trust me.
I think between Rob and myself, we both have very expansive imaginations.
Expansive or expensive?
Both.
Okay.
I'm a little more
I was gonna
expensive.
say. I just needed to clarify because I'm not very expensive. I'm more expansive than you are expensive.
That's
Okay,
a
go
big
ahead.
joke in
Sorry,
the house as
sorry.
well. I'm like, guys, I don't want to sound bougie. But you are.
But you
But guys, can you just like move this for me? I don't. Anyways, no, we both have very expansive, creative imaginations. If you give us any sort of theme or idea, I guarantee you we're going to take it 100 yards further than what you would have imagined. Another sports innuendo.
I think you're still into the football thing, which is still
It's
pretty
the only one that I'm willing to work on right now.
ridiculously remarkable.
I'm learning. This is what living with him is like. I'm learning all about sports. But
Next, we got to get into NASCAR, but that's golf.
so
Golf.
what I know now is that it's all about etiquette, which I find very ironic that Rob plays.
Golf. Oh. They have great etiquette on the golf course.
On the golf course, I can imagine. But yeah, no, I think we're just ridiculously creative, and when you put us together, we keep going and keep going.
I think it's because we do get along so well and respect each other's talents. I think that's really kind of, I mean, that's what makes us work. I appreciate how, in like the detail of her drawings and the whatever, because I can't even do a very good stick figure. And she can put a room in 3 dimensions on a piece of paper with measurements and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, really? That actually just looks just like that does. And how do you do that? So, yeah, I mean, it's just fun. It's fun to kind of be able to, like you said, push the envelope
and push each other in a
yeah,
way.
yeah.
I think we do drive each other.
Because there's sometimes she'll draw something and it'll be like, are you insane?
I'm like,
But then she's like, you can do this. Like, you can actually do this.
'Cause I know
And
you can.
I'm just like, okay. And sure enough, at the end of the day, it's kind of come out, and it's better than I thought it was going to be. So
all those cheerleading years.
What
I knew
was
that.
that's what we need at the house is some pom poms. Okay, Rod,
You can do it. You can do it.
What would be your craziest or kind of dream theme? Like, I would think you might be a golf and you might be equestrian just because of what I know you, but maybe not. Where would you, if somebody said,
I would go probably like medieval Gothic, over the top. I always say that one. I love it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I like a lot of old world, like personally, in my own element, my own space. I like a lot of old world, medieval sort of style, like detail, and I
For
like
what though?
that.
Like for a
Classical.
theater room,
I mean,
or like a
anything.
master, or like
Sure.
what kind of space?
I mean, I could do an amazing theater room. I could do amazing living room. I mean, just anything. I can incorporate that sense of design in anything, and even bring horses into the element.
In the medieval goth horse.
Sure. Yeah, right. They
I'm
rode
sure
horses.
you
They didn't
can
have cars.
probably pull that off.
Absolutely.
I think if I had my
Castle.
dream, well, let's just build a castle then and make the whole thing.
Out of pallets. Low budget.
Yeah.
Get some spray
like,
paint.
like a three little
Black little
pigs.
Play-Doh on the edge will be good. No.
I guess if I wanted, like, I'm just such a sports fanatic. I mean, I love sports. I love all sports, basketball, football, to golf and NASCAR and everything in between with the little women's volleyball. So I love it all. I would love to do a really insane,
Was that a
crazy.
true excitement? Or is that like...
No, I find myself hysterical, so I kind of if I know that nobody else is laughing at my jokes, I got to give myself a little bit of a chuckle. So because I kill myself. So yeah, that's what I would do. Like just a totally master pimped out sports room.
What kind of sports stuff?
Well, like all of them, I don't discriminate.
Oh, combination.
Yes. So you got pool, you got foosball, you've got video games, you've got jerseys. See, my last name's James, so I would, if I was doing mine, I would have every professional sports athlete with the name James, their jersey in frames all around. It sounds a
There's
little.
probably a lot of
Sounds a little self.
Yeah, narcissist.
Well, I am King Rob James. So.
Yeah, a little narcissist. Just a little, but whatever.
But I want to go see them and then have them sign all the. I just think it would be really kind of.
To Mr. James from Mr. James.
Me and LeBron would be tight for sure. So.
Can make that happen.
Neat. No, that's
All right.
good.
Try and sit closer together, guys.
And
Some of
professional
that.
sports team in the state of Florida.
And I think they just signed a new women's soccer team, or is
That was last year.
That was last year.
So what makes you guys
I
bump
just read
heads?
about it the other
You talked
day.
about compliment. What makes you bump heads?
Ooh.
Do you need to take a stretch? You want to get off the
No, you're
sofa
fine.
set?
It's okay. Ooh. Oh, that's.
Or goof more, whatever. You're probably.
Rob, also, this is a benefit of living with Rob, is that he actually is very strong, and I have the worst knots in my back, and he will rub those knots out. Every single one of them. To the point of his tears, but it works.
Ties them.
What makes us bump heads is probably.
Sometimes Rob's just a little, sensitive.
Well, that's actually kind of accurate. But I think.
And I'm completely not.
and Mo can be a little bossy and.
Not with the bad intention, just sometimes I don't know
Just
when to
take
stop.
it. Just take it. You're a little bossy.
And I'm like, no, go more. You can do it. And he's like, no, I've had enough of you can do it. It's like, there's no more. I'm doing it. I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Chill out. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, she will just go until she. You know what she does? She goes 1,000 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden she'll stop. She'll actually blink and then fall asleep, just like that. Like literally in seconds. She'll be like in mid conversation. So I really need to get that bag, or can you take the right side of the house off? And then pick it up and then move the garage over to the left side of the house. And that's all I need for you to do on Saturday. That's all I need you to do. Okay, great. And then all of a sudden she'll breathe and then she'll fall asleep. And she'll be out for like 12 hours. And I'm standing there, I guess, with half the house going, really? You son of a... So that's that drives me mental. When she just won't stop. Like she literally doesn't stop.
What do you want to do to her?
He's like, I want to drop the house on you.
Yeah.
Dramamine. Here, try this. Here's some Dramamine or something.
Upcoming projects, things that excite you. I think, and you know what? Let me quick.
That's good.
So,
So, wrap
we
it.
got the two. There's the Hard Rock, building furniture, and then
Well, that's Sharky's.
that's Sharky's.
That's where I handle the
Sharky's.
liaising with the clients on that.
Copy that.
All right, so tell us about exciting upcoming stuff. Keep your energy up high.
Upcoming stuff.
Upcoming
We've got
projects.
lots of stuff going on.
What are you most excited about?
I am most excited about making furniture. We have a huge Sharkies.
Yes.
Sharkies. Furniture package. They need tables. They need display cabinets. They
Visual
need,
merchandising tools, which I love. I get very excited about that.
I don't even know what that word is
it's-
really, but I have a lot of stuff to build, and it's all reclaimed materials, and it's going to be basically a week. And
We've got a week
plus.
to do about $12,000 worth of displays, which obviously Rob's super excited about.
So describe who Sharkies is.
So
as you do that.
Sharkies is actually a store located throughout the Caribbean that is owned by clients.
Is
of
it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Caribbean. This one is actually located in Cayman.
Which is actually
Grand Cayman.
Cayman. Everybody in the
He hates
world.
when I say that, but when you go there, they all say Cayman.
Well, it's
So
'cause they
if
have
you
an
say-
accent.
If you say Cayman, they look at you like you're a fool. So I just got myself in the habit of saying Cayman.
And now
So-
she's the only fool here.
So, anyways, it's when he thinks he's funny. It's just but
got it
anyways, so our clients own, it's their original concept. They're located throughout the Caribbean, and did I say it right?
Or Caribbean.
Caribbean, and Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay. Anyways, so it's there. I'm like really trying to play this through my head. Is that how you say it?
It's just like you call me Canadian.
You're a Canadian. Yeah.
Same
okay.
sort of thing. It's Caribbean, Canadian.
Or Karki.
Oh yeah, how
Karki.
do you say khaki pants?
Karki, khaki, Karki.
This is a karki. Is that retarded? Is that ridiculous?
Pants?
Yeah, you know, khaki pants, like khaki color.
Pardon.
Khaki.
Khaki shorts. She calls it karki, and I'm like,
Karki.
how do you say karki? And I said karki, like car key, but no, the khaki. I'm like, no, that's khaki.
That's just
Car-
one of my special talents. Okay?
Special.
My special
Specials, right?
things about me. Anyways,
Anyways.
so Sharkies is owned by our clients, who is a original brand concept that's located throughout the Caribbean. And it is basically where you would go and buy your t-shirts and hats when you jump off the cruise ship. They're located in Nassau, Belize, Grand Cayman, St. Kitts, all those, Jamaica, whatnot, wherever you go down there. And so what they're trying to do is actually have some sort of brand standard within their locations, because they are original concepts. So I've helped them with one of their Hot Rock locations in Montego Bay, and now we're working on their concept with them. So Rob has to build about $12,000 worth of reclaimed furniture
In about
for
5
visual
days.
merchandising in a 3,000 square foot location, and he's got about 5 days to do it, and then we have to ship it down to Miami and get it on a cargo container. And then we've got about a week before it arrives on island, and they will claim it through customs, which I've learned working in the Caribbean. It's very difficult process, and then after that we're on a plane and we're going to go down there and install it. So that's a really exciting one. Being that it's in Grand Cayman, it's a little bit more of a tropical theme, and it's
So really cool colors, really
Yeah.
cool designs. I
Kinda
love how
coastal,
the tables,
shabby.
they're all like different sizes, but they kind of like intermix with each other. So it'll
nesting
be,
tables.
that's what they're called. So it's just going to be fun to be able to just kind of hang out, play in the garage, and just kind of create some. Just a
Rob
whole
thinks
bunch
we're
of
going to
stuff.
be able to hang out in the island and just put stuff together. And I'm like, we've got a lot of work to do. So that's probably where we bump heads. Because at 5 o'clock, Rob's going to be like, I'm ready to go get a beer. And I'll be like, nah, I don't think we can.
And then it's midnight by the time we finish work, and I'm too tired to even drink water. So
And then he wants to
that's
strangle
when
me.
that's when we got
After that, we have another project coming up with Hard Rock in Guatemala City. This is going to be really exciting because the cafe is already up and running, so it's a renovation, which is really kind of fun. I actually prefer renovations to new builds. I don't know why. I think it's, I like the idea of conserving and changing, or updating and building upon, certain things. And this cafe was I want to say it was built about 8 years ago. And
it was just a weird concept, the way they kind of tried to create the local sort of atmosphere and history, but they didn't pull it off very well.
yes, the thought was there. So Guatemala City is the new capital of Guatemala. Prior to that was Antigua. Antigua, which actually means antique in Spanish. So I learned this on my first trip, so I'm really excited. Guatemala City is actually surrounded by volcanoes, and there's 4 active volcanoes. There's Agua, Fuego, and 2 other ones that I can't pronounce the names. But what they've done in the cafe is try to really pull in the elements of the volcanoes. So there's all sorts of different suspended
Upside down
triangle
mountains.
things hanging from the ceiling. Kind of get the.
I was holding it in. I wasn't sure what you
I saw you back there dancing. I was like,
It's the worst thing.
see, that's why I can't drink lemonade because it makes my throat feel weird. But there's all these upside down triangle things that I understand that what they were trying to do, but it just wasn't.
Conceptually, it was kind of like the volcanoes, and then there was like this red light that kind of.
They did tile on the ceiling. It's supposed to be the lava flowing from the bar,
Yeah.
and I mean the ideas were there, but they also tried to put this cafe together in 3 months. So it has a new owner. They want to do a complete new rebranding of it, and so we've gone in and we're really going to pull a lot of the inspiration from the antique capital city, Antigua, which is absolutely beautiful. You've got old red brick buildings and just so much history and culture, and a really that kind of old world look that I
And make
love.
it sort of period specific instead of just trying to like, you know,
And what, like pulling in
like
the
a clicky
volcanoes
sort
and-
of
and it-
remodel. It's going to be like authentically, you know, how it, you know, might have looked with a modern flair.
Exactly.
In,
And we're talking, I mean, everything in that location has to be done. It's everything down to the tables and chairs.
What was the client's direction?
The original? The original direction?
Yeah, what do they tell you? Like, looks old, or I need this to pull in more money, or what
Well, the
are
client-
their directions to you? And then you come back and say, hey, I think, you know, you need new furniture. You need to get rid of that. You need to theme it, or you need to. I think if you pull in the volcano thing here, and all, this is going to make this place pop, and people are going to talk about it. And
My original consultation with the client, their main concerns were that the cafe was not executed to the standard that it could have been, and then it was not maintained. So even the finishes that did work and were in correlation with the actual thematic design originally have not been kept up. So their wallpaper's peeling off the walls, all the chairs, you know, they didn't use the best quality of banquettes and whatnot. So it's really starting to kind of fall
Weather.
apart. Weather, that's a great way to put it. And not only that, it's just the visualization of what they were trying to do just did not, it wasn't complete. They didn't have the time. So it wasn't poor design, it just wasn't quite, the details weren't there. So when I walk in, you know, obviously the first thing I am thinking about is all the details and how we can change it and what we can do to really draw in the inspiration from the antique city and use that as our theme. Pull the volcanoes in, but not have them suspended from the ceiling, perhaps, and use different elements to correlate that through an artistic vision.
good lighting and
Yeah,
just like and just keep it
absolutely.
warm because it's like this black ceiling and the red. It just looks a little just disconnected. I didn't go. She showed me pictures and it was just kind of weird and odd. So being
Yeah.
able to try to come up with, you know, something authentic to their culture, I think will translate very, very well in a space like a really nice hotel or restaurant.
Well, and it's also a very large tourist destination. Antigua is known for the tourists. There's a lot of Europeans that actually reside there in second homes. And so to be able to draw that into the capital city and have a little bit of that history and culture, I absolutely believe that it's going to help the owners garner a greater revenue. People are going to enjoy it more. They're going to see the symbolization, symbolic aspects of the location, and enjoy that. I mean, when you walk
Symbolism.
in, symbolism. Did I say? I thought that's what I said. And I said symbolism.
Okay.
I made my
We all do this.
whatever. Check in the dictionary 2 months from now. It'll be there.
Lowe's dictionary.
Whatever. People know what I'm saying.
It was
Merge.
like your neighbor, wasn't it?
We can merge a couple of these questions and get these off because what they're trying to capture is
I think one aspect that's very exciting about the theming concept for potential families who want to watch is that it's something that most kids would like to have in their room. I don't have children, but I've seen my brothers have kids, and each of the kids have to have something special in their room. Kids love it. So for families to be able to watch and get creativity and inspiration and ideas of things that they could probably execute, I think that's a huge potential right there.
Yeah.
Products, whatnot. You know.
I mean, these kids are constantly watching, you know, all these different cartoons and Disney's, and Transformers and, you know, all this stuff. So if you can kind of incorporate a little bit of that into their vacation, after spending the full day at the parks and doing all that, and just enjoying being immersed and feeling like you're in that movie or in that TV show, or and then you come home and then you get to actually be Bumblebee or Optimus Prime or Jack Sparrow or whatever, to be able to create that for these kids.
Well, I think there's also a great opportunity to inspire kids and families to participate in actually attempting to do some of the work themselves. You know, not in our region, obviously, because we want to do the work, but on a broad spectrum, I think that people who watch a show like this would
to
actually
inspire them.
Well, actually, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so many kids that sit there and they're on their iPads and they're playing video games and they just sit inside all day. And there's, you know, it's exciting. Like I grew up on a farm. I enjoy being outside. I enjoy working with my hands. I enjoy accomplishing something, and that's part of all the that's part of the reason that I think I do push and I drive so much, because the feeling of completing something really satisfies me. So see, you just right here. Apparently I can't talk. I've never been on live television before. So,
You're the worst at that.
I know, I do it.
Apparently, never been on live television before, but because I don't watch this program because Grandpa just watches the Powerball.
So this is the exact kids we're trying to reach.
Exactly.
But I think that there's
But-
a
and-
great opportunity to get kids involved and have families involved, and instead of on the weekends sitting and watching TV, I won't say football, but you know, maybe they take on a project and say, hey, well, we saw this on TV, we can do this too. And you know, it may not be to the same level, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
like
their
Theme
vacation from
Masters.
Orlando.
Theme Masters
Exactly.
like just created this whole really phenomenal idea for this family to come in and do, you know.
Well, and then the people who are visiting here are taking it home, and they found, you know, now they have inspiration and ideas, and it kind of we're showing them how we come up with this and how we execute, and now they
Right.
can take it home and execute themselves.
But I do like the idea of them like getting off the iPad and actually like
Yeah.
doing something like as a family or as,
And
you know.
Rob can attest to this. I do not watch television. I do not watch television. I have many
Well-
people around me. He's actually, I've watched a few movies with him since he's moved in, but I have not sat down and watched a movie or television in probably 4 years prior to that. I do not. It's just not in my, it's not in me. I'd rather be out moving around. Probably part of, that's where we
Tell
bump
me,
heads the
tell me
most.
about the pirate room. What it meant putting the pirate room together. Or is that one of your cooler ones when it comes to that, or that lovely Harry Potter?
Let's do
garage,
the
or-
Harry Potter. Let's do
Yeah.
the
Okay,
wizardry room.
right.
You can
I think for
Very
me,
fun.
my favorite theming project that we did was the garage conversion. We changed the single car garage into a Harry Potter wizard themed theater room. And what was really fun is actually it was her birthday, and she had never seen the movies or never been to Universal. So we went for lunch. We went to Hooters for lunch. No, we just went for lunch.
He did take me to Hooters. He's gonna upgrade me to
Twin Peaks
next year. He's told me already. I'm like his little sidekick. He gets to use me as an excuse to go
Yeah.
to the
I don't need an
these
excuse, but
wonderful
anyways,
establishments for food.
I go for the food.
Obviously,
Their wings are amazing. Anyways, so
What would
so
they
he
taking
theme
likes
that
to bring me
like?
down a few notches.
Theming a Hooters.
I mean, you gotta bring bougie back down to her own 2 feet every once in a while. So, anyways, so going to the park was exciting because then you know you're not only just watching it on TV, you're actually like you are in Harry Potter. You are like holding on to his wand. So being able to create that in a space, I think because of the design aspect of it, and then really just kind of making that space feel like a Hogwarts room and whatever.
It is.
was-
It's all about the feels. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, is when you walk in and you see the clients walk in and you feel it, and it's really. I think that's the most exciting. That's the magic of it. you know?
But talk about just the elements you had to do and finding the pieces and the abstract stuff that you found in the wainscoting and stuff. Just dive a little bit. If
What things you
remember
saw that
anything.
inspired you, and then you thought could translate
for me,
into a room.
That's where the history comes in. That's when researching and actually learning as
being at the park and taking
Oh,
the pictures
that was
of
amazing.
you know, like what Hogwarts and how they, you know,
Well, the
the
genre
build
of
up, the
time.
build up of the wainscoting, going up the stairs and being able to kind of do that in the space on a much smaller, you know, scale. The Quidditch brooms hanging from the wall that we'd find at like Target. The
Good cueing there, Rich.
Like how you would take
Frame the television.
because they love the garages to be gaming rooms, so you would I can take the frames of Harry Potter, like what you did, and you put
Right.
the TV in there, and you put
And
an
then you do the
Xbox on
picture
it,
rail and all
little
that sort of stuff. Yeah.
little fireplace under it, and
Well,
bada
that-
bing, bada
For me,
boom.
that all came down to actually looking at the genre and time period of when Harry Potter took place. Because, as I've said, I've never actually watched the movies. We did go to the park, which was absolutely enjoyable. It was wonderful. Second to Hooters, obviously.
Wait, just go. But see what the neat thing there. Try to time, because what's naturally going to happen there is the theming people are always.
So the one great thing about, so we have, you know, a lot of these owners that, you know, have these vacation rentals, and they really don't know what is going to separate their house from everybody else's. So a lot of people, they don't never use their garage. So we find that, you know, that one thing of like having a game room or theater room and convert that garage. Now, the fun part is when you actually meet with the homeowners for the first time and you're like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite genre? What's your favorite
What do you
color?
like?
Where's your most incredible place to vacation? And you get all of this information from the homeowners, and then we kind of get together and we kind of like huddle up, and then it's like, let's do a Harry Potter themed. Like, let's just throw this idea. What do you think about, you know? And they're like, I never thought of that. Like, that sounds incredible. That sounds special, and that sounds like something we want to do.
And at the end of the day, it also helps them market their properties because these are vacation homes.
Right.
You know, Orlando is the #1 tourist destination in the world. We have over 4,000 vacation rental homes in the Tri-County area.
Right, most of them are
So-
60-70% occupied, but these ones that we've done are at to 90+%
92%.
occupied because, you know, it's different, it's
that's-
special. It makes them feel like they are relaxed, they are on vacation, they are experiencing everything that they wanted to as a family.
Absolutely.
And that's forget about it. That's
And
amazing.
They bring the theme parks home. They really do. So when they're done at the theme park, they're staying in a place that has also carried that feeling into the space.
Mm-hmm.
And people will pay for that. People want to experience that. And a lot of families, they save up all year to go on these vacations and take their kids to
Right.
Disney or Universal or wherever they're going. And so to be able to have that experience in the location they're staying, that's great for our owners because they know that their house is going to be rented. And now they're making a return. So it's
fun.
exciting. Yeah. We get to be creative.
Whoever's logging this, star that. That was like one of your best bits because it really that's going to be the summation thing to kind of set up what this is. I want to go back though to the thing Curtis is trying to get. So you guys hold on. Let me get a little bit closer. Stand by. I'm on my little tripod. And
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Theme Masters.
all right, that is kind of cutting through a little bit, but I think it's okay.
Yeah, that. And then I would do one we are
Right.
the theme masters.
Okay.
We are the Theme
I think it
Masters.
flows
Yeah.
better because it'll help you guys get into. It'll jazz you more. I'm
Keep your
Mo, I'm
energy
Rob,
up, nice
and we
smiles.
are the theme.
And right here, action.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob. And we are the Theme Masters.
Yeah,
Love the way I read this. Just got one more like that. That was great.
right.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob. And we are the Theme Masters.
And then go back to now, and this is Theme Masters because I love the energy.
I'm
of that
Mo.
one.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob. And
And
we
this-
are. This
We
is-
changed it to this is.
This is right. Okay.
I didn't. My agent didn't call me.
We didn't get that cheap
No.
script.
No. Do I get paid for that extra?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob.
And
this is Theme Masters.
Don't you rush it too much. I'm Mo, and I'm Rob. Slow it down. You're like, I'm Rob. Versus like, and I'm Rob, and this is Theme
Just
Masters.
want to get my part over with.
I can see that.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob.
And this is.
No, that was good, Rob. That was
Yes.
good. Yeah, you bounced on that.
See, it's just one thing at a time. I can only work. What is it? This is.
And this is Theme Masters.
I'm Mo.
And I'm Rob. And this is Theme Masters.